pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Satisfactory.
Albert Hendrickson, although we knew him as Hendricks, Denny came out with his older brother Edgar, and they were very enterprising. Actually, they struggled a lot, but they mined in Deadwood, they mined all over trying to earn some money. They then worked for William Davidson in Fort Jones, bought meat from him, which they sold for only 25 cents a pound, and quickly went into debt. And so then they worked for Davidson, and they were making nails and splitting rails. At one point they did buy some ranch land over in Noyes Valley, and they took on some cows which they milked and sold the milk at South Fork. He married and he had 9 children. This is one of the interesting facts is that Alexander Parker, who actually originated in Scotland, also had 9 children. And he and in the Parker Campbell Company, they actually built this building in 1880, but then Campbell sold out to Denny, so then it became the Denny Parker building, and it was a mercantile. And then Aaron Barr, who also came out, I thought he was actually a part owner, but in fact he was a general manager, and they worked together. Denny and Aaron Barr worked together for many, many years, actually until the time of Albert Denny's death. One of the interesting little anecdotes was that Alexander Parker and A.H. Denny both died on the same day, which happened to be Alexander Parker's birthday in 1907. They both died 3 hours apart, and they both had 9 children, and they were both very similar, I think, in character, because they were extremely enterprising, and of course they impacted this valley tremendously, both in ranching and what Alexander Parker did, and then also in terms of Denny and his impact on the entire valley. Bruce Parker, of course, was the last person to work in the store here, and I only vaguely remember him because we were married and he was still here. But the Parker family, of course, it was interesting too, because there was some intermarriage between the Parkers and the Dennys. So a Parker girl married a Nutting, and a Parker girl married a Denny. So kind of interesting, the connections that grew up between the two families.
Just say real quick, ever since I came in this organization years ago, I've wanted to be a part of a historical site in my hometown, and it's pretty cool I get to do that today. I want to thank the Humbug of 1859, the Southern Oregon Chapter, for allowing this to happen, making it happen. The Humbug of 73, which is out of Wairika, they're the Siskiyou Chapter. And then I want to thank Sparrow and the Denny Bar crew. They made this happen. They were really cool about it. We talked about this about 5 years ago. I want to give a shout out to, again, Humbug 73, Umpqua Joe, the Denny Bar, Chad Lawson for helping me put this up. My mom, my mom for sewing this nice little cover for us. Thanks, Mom. And with that, question.
Of course, this must cost some money for you to do this. If some of us would want to help you in future endeavors, how would we do that?
You can get a hold of your local chapter. We're selling raffle tickets for that side-by-side there. A lot of that money goes towards doing stuff like this, if you're interested in winning that. You could always get a hold of your local chapter and make a donation. Go to one of their events.
We'd love to take your phone number also.
So yeah, without further ado, Nate, Brian? Not to feel the tape off there.
to be there.
Small writing. Do we get to keep this, or does your mom want it back?
I don't know. The Denny Bar Company. The Denny Bar Company building was originally built in 1880 by the Parker Campbell Company, which sold goods and merchandise to the miners and settlers of the 1880s. In 1892, the second story became the site of the first high school north of Red Bluff, California, with an enrollment of 15 students. The second floor was also later used for public lectures, concerts, entertainment, as well as rooms for rent. In 1896, Campbell sold his interest in the store to A.H. Denny, forming the Denny Bar Company. A.H. Denny was a man of vision, business acumen, having first entered the mercantile business circa 1866 in Callahan, 12 miles south of Etna. He also acted as a Wells Fargo agent, the Justice of the Peace, and was instrumental in establishing Etna's first bank, the Etna Library, and of course the Denny Bar Company. In 1900, the business was incorporated under the name Denny Bar Co. and became part of the first chain of retail stores in all of California, boasting a total of 9 stores throughout Northern California in Callahan, Etna, Fort Jones, Greenview, New River, Gazelle, Wairika, Montague, and Cecilville. Denny Bar Company operated its own pack train and contracted for mail and freight to be transported over the mountains to the large gold mines located in the area. The building still houses an operational large walk-in safe that was used by Denny Bar Co. to safeguard gold purchased from the miners until transport could be arranged by Wells Fargo and Company to the nearest banks in Sacramento. It is recorded that the early Denny Bar Company traded goods and services for over $1 million when gold was only $30 an ounce. Dedicated November 19th, 2022, 6027, E. Clampus Vitus, Humbug Chapter 73, and Umpqua Joe Chapter 1859. What say the brethren? Satisfactory!